The surprise early departures of Andy Murray and Stan Wawrinka, who had bookended the top half of the Monte Carlo draw, had opened up an opportunity for someone to cash in and make a deep run in the tournament, and Pouille and Ramos-Vinolas have so far embraced the opportunity, battling through a couple of crazy quarterfinals on Friday. Ramos-Vinolas had worked a mini miracle in recovering from a 4-0 third set deficit to defeat Andy Murray in the round of 16, and the never-say-die Spaniard was again up to his old tricks in his quarterfinal against Marin Cilic, recovering from an early break in the third set to dominate the remainder of the match. Cilic had set out to target Ramos-Vinolas' backhand, which is admittedly not as good as his forehand, but it is certainly not a liability. The Spaniard stayed rock solid on that wing, and goaded Cilic into overpressing. Ramos-Vinolas broke twice on his way to taking a 40-minute opening set 6-2. Cilic applied the early pressure in the second set, carving out his first break point of the match in the second game of the set, but he could not quite force the breakthrough. The Croatian was doing most of the early probing, but it was Ramos-Vinolas that got the first break of the set against the run of play in the seventh game. The world number 24 served for the match at 5-4, but he faltered on the line as Cilic found some big forehands to break back right at the death. Ramos-Vinolas regrouped to force a tiebreak after saving a set point on his own serve at 5-6, and he appeared in control of the breaker when he led 5-3. However, Cilic found another gear, particularly the forehand again, to reel off 4 straight points to force a decider. A fired-up Cilic went 2-0 up in the final set, but Ramos-Vinolas rebounded with 6 straight games to romp to victory and secure a berth in his first Masters 1000 semifinal. The Spaniard began the week with consecutive straight sets victories over Viktor Trotsky and Renzo Olivo, but as the opposition got tougher, he raised his level accordingly, pulling off back-to-back 3-set wins over world number 1, Andy Murray, and former US Open champion, Cilic. The left-hander has been consistent on clay this season. This is his 4th semi-final on the surface this year alone, and he will seek a second final of 2017 when he takes on Lucas Pouille on Saturday. Pouille came through a roller coaster quarter-final against Pablo Cuevas to take his place in the last 4. In a match full of peaks and valleys for both players, Pouille was almost spotless in dishing out an opening set bagel to his Uruguayan opponent, but Cuevas, who had knocked off Stan Wawrinka in the previous round, responded by winning the first 4 games of the second set. Pouille mounted a late resistance, but the deficit was way too big to make up. After an early exchange of breaks in the deciding set, Cuevas made his move in the 7th game and opened up a 5-3 lead, but it was Pouille, riding on the increasingly partisan pro-French crowd, who found some late momentum to go on a 4-game tear to emerge victor in a weird but entertaining encounter. It was the hardest Pouille had to work this week, as he eased past Ryan Harrison and Paolo Lorenzi in the opening 2 rounds, before benefiting from the retirement of Adrian Manarino in the 3rd round, with just 3 games on the board. Pouille is contesting his 3rd semi-final of the season, having finished runner-up in Marseille and lost to Andy Murray in the Dubai semi-finals. Wouldn't he just love to reach a first Masters 1000 final?